In this video, Simon Sinek talks about having objectives is a perfectly valid thing to do.
Infinite game is not the absence of finite games. It is the context within which those finite games exist, right? And it's also understanding the game you're in at the time you're in the game. So for example, if it's a new business pitch, that's finite. Yeah. There is a beginning, middle, and end. There is someone who will be declared the winner, and there's a group that will be declared the losers. And then the game ends, right? The pitch is over. Now, once you have the relationship, now it should be more infinite-minded. So you convert. It's like winning an election is finite. Governance is infinite. And we see what happens in governance when they're trying to win when there should be governing, right? It hurts the whole system. So we overuse things like sports analogies in business, which is always a finite game. And I think a better analogy to use is lifestyle. And again, there's nothing wrong with metrics and goals. They're very important. Human beings need to count things. We're visually driven animals. We're tangibly driven animals. You can't run a marathon without mile markers. It's actually unnerving. Remember that those metrics are measures of speed and distance. How fast are we going? How far have we gone? But they don't constitute the end of the game. They're just mile markers. Right. And so a better way to think of business is like thinking, I want to be a healthy person that lives a healthy lifestyle. Okay, what are all the things you need to do? You need to eat well, you need to sleep, you need to nurse your personal relationships, you need to exercise, there's probably a list of 30 other things. What do you need to build a great business? You need marketing, you need sales, you need great HR, you need oh my God, the list is exhaustive. You can't do all those things great all the time, just like you can't do all those things great in our lives all the time. It's a pursuit. And the more we have help and the more we have a gym buddy, the more likely we are to be better at those things. And you can set arbitrary goals. And this is most of business. When somebody says, we're going to hit this number on this date, somebody just made that up. Like, literally. Right. In fact, sometimes goes, I think we can do better. And you're like, you're right, and here's the new goal. If you're trying to lose X amount of weight by X date, arbitrary number, arbitrary date, totally just like business. And what do? You start driving towards it. And you measure every day. You stand on the scale every morning. And some days you feel good, some days you feel like you're falling behind. And let's say you hit that goal. You're elated. And then what? Yeah. Well, the problem is the game's not over. You have to keep exercising for the rest of your life. Just because you hit a goal means nothing. You missed the goal. Well, you're probably way healthier now than you were when you started, and you just picked the wrong number on the wrong date. You're easily going to hit your goal in 14 months. You can see the trend data. Right. And I think that's the thing that's missing when we play the game of business, which is the absolutes are finite, but it's the trend. It's how we get somewhere. Because you know this as well as everybody in this room, which is if I have two teams and I simply bonus you by one factor and one factor alone, which is did you hit the number on the date, right? You know, you can have a leader who drops the price at the last minute, runs a bunch of promotions, begs, borrows, steals, stabs people in the back, steals information. They hit the number on the date. We treat them like a hero. We give them a bonus. And it sends a message to the rest of the company. We don't care how you get your numbers as long as you get your numbers. Well, over the course of time, that has an impact on your culture. Versus the team that has an amazing, nobody quits, nobody's fired, morale is high, and you see the trend data is beautiful. It's not this roller coaster. It's just beautiful line. And they just missed the number on the date. And we give that team nothing. As opposed to saying, you're going to hit your goal, you guys have been doing well, and we do bonus that team. And I think it's very important to consider how we got there. Are you obeying our values as you work? And what's the trend? If you're in a finite game, play by finite rules. But the context has to be infinite. And this is where vision and mission comes in. I call it the just cause, which is all of those finite wins are for what? Are they to make a small group of people much wealthier? What's the goal of hitting those? So you can brag you're number one based on the metrics that you chose, market share, revenues, I mean, who knows? Number of offices, you get to pick.
A well-known expert in leadership and management, Simon Sinek is well known for his use of the infinite game concept in the corporate sector. One of his most important lessons is the significance of using infinite-minded criteria to gauge performance rather than only using finite-minded ones. We shall examine Sinek's viewpoint on infinite-minded metrics and what it means for businesses in the essay. Let's first define what he means by limited and limitless minds. A limited perspective prioritizes short term success, frequently at the expense of long term sustainability. Metrics like revenue, profit, and market share are frequently used by finite minded approaches to judge performance. On the other hand, an infinite minded strategy concentrates on the long term and seeks to produce sustainable success that benefits all stakeholders, not just the stockholders. Over short term financial advantages, an infinite minded perspective values things like purpose, culture, and connections. Sinek contends that companies who put an excessive amount of emphasis on metrics with finite scope are missing the greater picture. While financial indicators are crucial, they are not the only ones. In fact, Sinek thinks that a company's long term performance might be harmed by a narrow concentration on indicators like revenue and profit. Instead, he advises companies to use a more all-encompassing approach to gauging success, one that considers the requirements of all stakeholders, not just shareholders. What are a few illustrations of infinite-minded metrics then? Employee commitment and enthusiasm are indicators of an organization's level of employee engagement. Businesses that place a strong priority on employee involvement typically have higher productivity levels, lower attrition rates, and higher customer satisfaction scores. Because engaged workers are more inclined to go above and beyond at work and contribute to the overall success of the organization, this indicator is crucial. Customer satisfaction. How pleased customers are with the company's goods or services is measured by customer satisfaction. High levels of customer satisfaction are crucial because they promote repeat business, effective word of mouth advertising, and a solid reputation for the company. Long-term income and profit tend to be higher for businesses that put a priority on customer pleasure. Impact on society. An organization's impact on society is a gauge of how much it advances society. Sustainability in the environment, social responsibility, and community involvement are a few examples of this. Companies with a strong brand reputation and a focus on social impact are more likely to draw in and keep customers who share their beliefs. Innovation is the ability of a business to generate fresh, original concepts that address issues and enhance the lives of its clients. Companies that value innovation typically keep one step ahead of the competition and have a higher chance of long-term success. These are just a few illustrations of the endless metrics that businesses can employ to gauge performance. Businesses can achieve sustained success that benefits all stakeholders by concentrating on these measures rather than just financial ones. In conclusion, organizations should take into account Simon Sinek's idea of infinite-minded metrics. Even if revenue and profit are crucial financial measures of success, they are not the only ones. Businesses can achieve long-term sustainable success that benefits all parties by adopting a more holistic approach to measuring success, one that takes into consideration the demands of all stakeholders. Having objectives is a perfectly valid thing to do. These measurements, however, do not actually signal the end of the game in business. In an endless game, we should concentrate on the direction we are heading in rather than the milestones we have already attained. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. For more videos, like these and please subscribe.